Tinubu's age. And following the signing into law student loan bill by the Bola Tinubu-led administration, an aide to the president, Dele Alake, is saying that students who have been convicted of fraud and drug cannot be qualified for that particular loan. Chibok girls' parents begged Tinubu to facilitate release of remaining 92 girls. Updated, Tinubu signed student loans bill into law. Thanks Nasma Dikisi for Southern Christian Senate President misconstrued Shetima. Okay, and of course, still talking about politics and, of course, the National Assembly here right on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Thanks, NAS, 55 South lawmakers elect adopt Abbas Carlo speakership. And more latest news, Tinubu has fulfilled more electoral promises than Buhari in 8 years. Reno Omokri is saying that Lagos government FOA woo investors to Ekpe feedlot projects. Stakeholders want government to pay more attention to tomato production business. Food company partners Abuja Cooperative Federation to reduce cost of food items. And more stories here. Agric-based foundation empowers Nigerians with free chicken, fish to promote poultry farming. Maize farmers get new seed variety to rev up production. How Ajero-led NLCs uniting affiliate unions to defend workers' citizens' right interest. And of course, we take two more. CTA tax federal government labor on transparent implementation of subsidy removal plan, crisis of states and challenges of development in Nigeria.
All right, we take a look at the Daily Trust whistleblower, how Emefiele got me detained for over 100 days because I exposed forex scam. Tinubu's first steps and the return of the prodigals. Super Eagles' attacking strength shown in squad selection. Also, scheming for Gbajabiamila's rep seat begins in Lagos. APC members heading for 10th Assembly inauguration die in auto crash. Nigeria's bond surge after Emefiele's sack. That's talking business and economy there. June 12, we should be inspired by Abiola's sacrifice. King Gibe. Democracy Day, why sack newly employed Benue workers, Governor Leah. Nigeria Air, fresh controversy as documents show Sirika lied on live TV. Allow National Assembly members choose their leaders. Northern elders caution Tinubu. Some stories from the Daily Trust newspaper. Take some more here. Have this one. APC members heading for 10th Assembly inauguration. Okay, already took that. Kogi governorship, Northeast elders unveil Ajaka as consensus candidate. Senate President, some governors are in support of Tinubu's choice. Makinde, APC members heading for. Alright, I didn't defame northern Muslims over NAS leadership. Shetima says restructuring targets at long-term sustainability. Polaris. Some headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. We'll take some commercials. When we come back, we will be taking a look at the analysis of the headlines. Austin Udumbe will be here for that. And of course, much later, we'll take your reactions to the stories. Stay with us.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Guy, see how many power bank only you dey carry. You dey sell am.
Oh boy, I get many important meetings today. I no fit miss them.
My brother, you dey give yourself wahala.
How na?
You suppose dey use the INT'L P40 to dey power yourself. Enjoy real power with all new INT'L P40. With just one charge, enjoy 3 days of fun with a 6000 mAh mega battery with fast charge and 7GB RAM. Also get 5GB data from Airtel for just 1000 naira when you buy INT'L P40 and activate with an Airtel 4G SIM card. SMS GET to 141 now. INT'L P40, one charge for 3 days.
Naija people with the yarn better tori abeg.
For Italian League, Osimhen and goals come be like 5 and 6. Bruh, na Ballon d'Or remain no.
I'm a different one on this one. Her father picked some boy over his own daughter as CEO.
No one tells a story like we do. Stream live football, local and international shows on Showmax, Africa's original streaming service. Sign up at showmax.com.
Ìbàdàn máa jẹ̀gbín yó ọmọ àfikàràmù fọ́ orí mu. Samsung ti dé pẹ̀lú àwọn ìfilọ́lẹ̀ tó jẹ tí ń gbèsè. Gba Bluetooth speaker ohun àrùnfetí gbóni gbọ́rọ̀ àti power bank alágbára lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún 20 mílíọ̀nù per hour. Tó o bá ra ẹ̀yà ẹ̀rọ Samsung A series tá a yàn. Wàá tún gba aago ìbọ̀wọ́ Samsung Watch 5 tó o bá ra ẹ̀yà S23 series àbí Samsung Watch 5 Pro tó o bá ra Flip 4 àbí Fold 4. Ìfilọ́lẹ̀ yìí wà láwọn ibùsọ̀ Samsung kọ̀ọ̀kan tá a yàn. O lè kàn sí Solat, Laplace àtàwọn ibùsọ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan tá a fún láṣẹ tó súnmọ́. Ó yá tààrà ṣàṣà kó tó tán lẹ̀.
Nǹkan tí mo bá ṣe ò ní fẹ́ mi láì ní òdiwọ̀n. Ó tó gbẹ́kẹ̀lé lójoojúmọ́. Kò sọ ohun tí mo bá ṣe ó fi fẹ́ hàn mí.
Ìfẹ́ tí kò lábàwọ́n ni ìfẹ́ ìyá jẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ kò sí ohun tó dùn tó bíi Indomie alájẹpọnu lákànlọ́. Nítorí náà, fi ìfẹ́ hàn pẹ̀lú Indomie.
Ó fi fẹ́ hàn mí.
Ọmọ ikọ̀ ẹ̀yìn gan lásán.
Ẹ wo mo ti lo oògùn ó ti sú mi.
Yé àṣìlò oògùn ìyẹn ò dáa.
Kí ni kí n wá ṣe nígbà tí mi ò lówó ilé ìwòsàn?
Kí ni nígbà tí ètò ìlera INT'L and Axamansard wà nílẹ̀. Òótọ́ ni pẹ̀lú ètò ìlera INT'L Axamansard o láǹfààní láti rí dókítà gba ìwòsàn àtọwọ́ ìwòsàn tó tó ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ọgọ́rùn-ún náírà. Testa 141*44# báyìí láti yan ètò tó tẹ́ ọ lọ́rùn.
INT'L, a reason to imagine.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Alright, you're welcome back. You're still on to Break It Down Papers Review here on 32 FM 94.9. My name is GBOLABO in Moscow.
And my name is Kenny Durusilu. Austin Udungu joins us this morning. Good morning, Austin. It's great to have you.
Good morning, Kenny. GBOLABO, good morning.
Good morning, Austin.
Thank you.
All right, quickly, let's look through the paper. Student loan appears to be everywhere, and of course, the signing of the student loan has been generating quite a number of issues. People have been talking about it. And of course, there are other conditions attached to the student loan. Not because you're a student, you have access. They're saying that if you've been convicted of drug or fraud, you will not be qualified for this particular student loan. What do we make out of this?
Yes, there are a lot of conditions. Like you said, it's not a free fund. That's just the truth. It's just to ease the hardship, especially as it borders on students in assessing quality tertiary education. That is what the government has come up with. Of course, this particular initiative has been on ground before President Muhammadu Buhari left office. If you look at the loan, first of all, you have to be an EDG of Nigeria. EDG of Nigeria means that you are a citizen of the country by birth, most especially. Then on the other hand, you must come up with evidence that your family cannot earn up to 500,000 per annum. A lot of people are not paying attention to that. So the federal government is looking at vulnerable students who cannot make ends meet. So if you show that evidence that, actually your family cannot earn up to 500,000 per annum, then you are qualified for that loan. Then it is not a Father Christmas. It is not as if you are taking the loan, you are going away with it. Because when it comes to government fund, people always have this notion that it is government money. We can take it and nothing will happen. 2 years after your NYC, post NYC 2 years, you are going to start the repayment. And 10% will be deducted from.
But does it show academic seriousness to say that because your parents are impoverished, then you should be entitled to it? What about merit? What about academic excellence? Is it not part of the things that ought to be considered here? Instead of the fact that your parent might be rich, but academic excellence could actually stand you out or, of course, encourage other people whose parents are not too rich to also get serious. Not that because your parent isn't rich, then you have access to it.
Yes, most especially for people to be very poor, especially from their background, and they want to be in school, we suggest that there's a quest. There is this test that, I must go to school irrespective of our poor background. It is for the vulnerable people. Some people can afford it. It's just like when government is sharing palliative in terms of physical products. What I can afford, I don't expect to go and queue to collect a Congo of rice, for example, because I feel that there are some people who need it dearly than I do. If you can afford it, there is no point applying for it. So you have to show evidence that actually you are vulnerable before you can access this. Of course, the issue of merit, that is a combination, but this is not especially for merit because there are processes it will pass through. Like we have also observed, there are children of the rich people who can also apply or who are brilliant that can apply. But the quest for this is to ameliorate the suffering of the people so that children of parents that are not well to do will not be deprived of tertiary education because their parents are not well to do. Then on the aspect of drug, yes, if you have been convicted, maybe you are a university student, polytechnic student, you belong to a cult group or the other, you carry out one activity, and at the end of the day, you earn a sentence, a court sentence, for example. You are not eligible for it. That's the criteria. So you watch it clearly that at the end of the day, you will not be eligible for such opportunity, especially from the government. But the point I want to emphasize is that this money is not as if it's for free, though the interest is free, but it's repayable.
Okay, another aspect of this whole conversation is ASU, and ASU yesterday actually said they have doubts over this student loan, especially the fear that will this not encumber, the poor kids or the poor children or students with debt loans, after the year, debts after their school years and all of that. Is this something that you actually agree with? It's talking about the discrimination that might come out as a result of this one.
Yes, from Abidisho, ASU, and various union within the tertiary institution, they oppose this bill. That's just the truth. I think the idea of the government is that at the end of the day, people will not be dropped out of school because their parents cannot afford it. That is what government want to achieve. I think this is a process. It is not enough to conclude that a process will not work before test running it. You need to start the process to know that whether it will work or not. I think we should just allow it because the way some people are condemning this bill now, I'm sure there are also some others somewhere who are elated that this bill has come to play, because we have seen a scenario where some students will drop out of tertiary institution because they could not pay their bill. You understand? During my own time in the school, it also happened. I have a friend who could not continue the education. The father died along the line and he could not continue. But thank God that time, as small as we were, we had to rally support. And at the end of the day, the fellow is a graduate for several years now. You understand?
Right.
So if because you don't have money to conclude your education, you want to drop out of school, the government is saying, no, you can access loan. When you access the loan, after your NYC, then you start paying back. When you get a job, you start paying back. I think it is good, especially for those that are poor. And when we talk about poverty here, we must define it properly. I just told you of an example now. You may enter into the university with everything working for you, but along the line, something might happen. The breadwinner of the family or somebody who is the financier, anything can happen that will make such a student to drop out. But the government is saying, no, we are going to establish a trust bank that you can access the loan after meeting some highlighted criteria. I think it's a welcome development, in my personal opinion.
And it's not like these loans are going to run into thousands and thousands of naira, seeing as there's some sort of subsidy on education as well, at least at the federal level and all of that. So it's not a situation where we have like in the Western democracies, you're paying loans years and years after you've graduated.
No, it's not. It's not going to be like that. That is why the government have said that you must show cause that your entire family income for a year is not more than 500,000, and it will be programmed along that line.
Okay.
The government has removed subsidy on PMS, and the government is also looking for a way to ensure that something get back to the people. If this is coming as a tertiary education subsidy, I think there is nothing wrong with it.
Okay, let's take a look at another story. Presidential Election Tribunal in Democracy Day speech. A lawyer here said that he has particular issues with certain parts of the speech, and I'll read that to you. It has become imperative to state here that the unnecessarily illegal orders used to truncate or abridge democracy will no longer be tolerated, Tinubu said yesterday in his nationwide broadcast. Now, some people have said that's a subtle threat directed at the judiciary. Is this just nitpicking or finding fault where they're none? What do you make of all of that talk?
I think it's more of finding fault. Excellently, the president delivered a robust speech yesterday. In short, it looks like a paradigm shift from what we used to have in the immediate past compared to the pattern of this current president.
And you could also feel like some emotion in his voice.
Yes,
it was like it was connected to
some people are
the speech.
Some people are still baffled that how can it be this man? I think we just have to come to the reality of the fact that Tinubu is our president today, except otherwise for tomorrow. He delivered the speech excellently well, but people will cast aspersion on some of the things the president will do. You don't expect people 100% to say that, what the president has done, the speech, is 100% okay. Some people will come up with loophole. The president said in his speech that the idea of illegal court order that truncates democracy will no longer be tolerated. You understand? Don't forget about yesterday was Democracy Day, commemoration of the June 12th. You know what happened on June 12th? The election that was adjudged to be the freest and fairest in the history of Nigeria was annulled. The military also at some point hid under certain law to be able to do that. And the president is coming to say that democracy has come to stay. The idea of court judgment, illegal court judgment that can threaten or truncate democracy will not be tolerated. Those who contested in an election, they did so because there is democracy. Those who took petition to court, they did so because there is democracy. So the president is saying, let's guide our democracy jealously. Right. The people that are saying that why should president make that statement, are they saying that court should give judgment that will truncate our democracy? The president saying that some people, especially the camp of the opposition, they feel that because of the presidential election petition tribunal, truncation of democracy order can come from any court, from anywhere. You understand?
Right.
What happened in Abia, let me cite this example, it will interest a lot of people, that all of a sudden we woke up and a court in Kano sack a popular governor of Abia State. Was that court order not illegal? Was that order not capable of threatening democracy? Because Abia election was a unique election in 2023 governorship election. And all of a sudden we just woke up that Governor Alex Oti will no longer be the governor of Abia. What do you think can happen? So when the president made that statement, some people looked at it from a narrow angle that perhaps because he's still in court, he has to defend his election. That is why he's saying that democracy can be threatened from any court of the land. I'm in the studio today because of democracy. Because during the military rule, there are certain things you can't say. You understand? So this freedom we enjoy is as a result of democracy. So however, people will talk about the president's speech. Some people will say he has done well. Some people will say it means nothing and what have you. Right. After all, somebody said arresting Emefiele is not a big deal. Why should he be arrested? Some people said this will chanting him. Some people said why should he be sacked? He should be in office. Emefiele that people called for, he said yesterday. You now suddenly find somebody that want to cut the head or shake the head and people are turning away. So there is this idea recently that whatever the government does, whether good or bad, people will criticize. But in democracy, criticism had to be constructive.
All right, I think for Tinubu case, you don't judge a book by the cover. I think that's what he had made the Nigerians realize. All right, I want us to quickly look at Ondo State. I don't know what's happening to Akiti. That's the governor of Ondo State here. And of course, there's been this issue around the deputy wanting to take power, transfer of power. And it's been said by the aide of the governor that after the meeting they had, he had to relax. That he was in Ondo State, but he had to leave the state because people were still disturbing him to Ibadan. And of course, the deputy governor who was given the permission to handle the affairs of the state still visited the governor here in Ibadan. And of course, had him sign some files. And now the story out there is that he's been going around to say the governor is very ill and he needs to get power to move on as the deputy governor to become governor of the state. Now, why do we have this sort of desperation in power? And secondly, why is it that it's difficult for our political leadership to come out plainly to say they are ill? And of course, let Nigerians know, or their indigents that they are actually governing over, understand what you're going through, like what Cuba did. And that's the former Cuban president, Fidel Castro. People knew what he was suffering from before he died. Now, why is it so difficult for us as politicians and Nigerians to come out clean to say they're suffering from a particular ailment and, the people will understand?
I think it's a form of political syndrome in our democracy, which ought not to be so. The case of Ondo State is peculiar. If you look at Akeredolu, he was one of the first governors in recent time that transmitted power to his deputy. So we don't know what is playing out now. The governor is sick. Some people said he needed rest. Some other people felt is incapacitated. There should be no rush. Ordinarily, the deputy governor will take over in the case of any eventuality. God forbid, people will say. You understand? Don't also forget some overzealous appointee who want to use the occasion of the governor's ill health to cause dichotomy between him and his deputy. You understand? I don't think the governor can relinquish power or step aside totally. What the deputy governor or some people can call for, not even the deputy governor, what some people can call for is, transmit power officially to the deputy governor to act in the stead of the governor. You understand? Anybody can fall sick and nobody is praying for sickness. So the governor for some time have not been able to discharge his duty physically. He's in Ibadan here, he's recuperating. Someone that can still sign file to a large extent is still okay. But based on doctor's advice, the doctor can say, you need further rest. Take time out of office. A lot of people are playing politics in Ondo State. They are also suggesting that the body language of the deputy governor suggests that he will contest the 2024 governorship election in that state. Is that a sin? He can contest. But if loyalty is tested, at the end of the day, it will be some of these aides of the governor that are trying to come up with issue. They are also trying to make way for themselves too, politically. You understand? So the area I don't like in the aspect of the deputy governor is that there is this news that Akeredolu is incapacitated, he can't even stand up, he can't move his leg, he can't shake his leg, and what have you. They said it was the deputy governor that sponsored those stories. I expected the deputy governor to also address the press or sign a statement to debunk that particular allegation or insinuation that no, I don't know anything about it. This is my governor. I am loyal to him. Once he recovers, we'll continue. The issue of loyalty, don't forget Akeredolu once had a deputy that was not loyal to him.
Very unlucky.
Yes,
with deputies.
Yes, he has to unpick this one by himself. That is why some people are raising concern that Akeredolu defied all odds to pick Lucky by himself. Now, why is the turn of event? But you see, this is politics. Anything can happen. If you ask me, the deputy governor might be interested in the seat of the governor. And I don't think he has committed any crime by converting that seat. But he must also know that he has a governor who is still alive, who he must be supported to the latter. I remember sometimes in Anambra when the governor was impeached, the deputy governor said, no, I can't be sworn in. I'm loyal to my oga. Don't swear me in until she was dragged. She was almost forced to take the oath of office.
Right.
And we also have another state where a governor, before a governor was impeached, the deputy governor was saying, "Oh, you understand? I don't want to mention them. I'm sure people that are listening, they will know the state that I'm referring to. So we must be very careful. Anybody can fall sick, but I also think that the seemingly tension in Ondo State is also caused by political appointee, overzealous political appointee who want to make political capital from the whole scenario.
All right. We have to take some commercials now. When we come back, open the phone line. Just stay with us.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
It's 7 a.m. Rise up to the tantalizing aroma of Golden Penny Noodles goat meat pepper soup flavor. Golden Penny Noodles. I want what I want.
ọmọ ikọ̀ ẹ̀yìn gan lásán.
ẹ wo mo ti lo oògùn ó ti sú mi.
yé àṣìlò oògùn ìyẹn ò dáa.
kí ni kí n wá ṣe nígbà tí mi ò lówó ilé ìwòsàn.
kí ni nígbà tí ètò ìlera INT'L and Axamansard wà nílẹ̀. òótọ́ ni pẹ̀lú ètò ìlera INT'L Axamansard o láǹfààní láti rí dókítà gba ìwòsàn àtọwọ́ ìwòsàn tó tó ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ọgọ́rùn-ún náírà. testa 141*44# báyìí láti yan ètò tó tẹ́ ọ lọ́rùn.
INT'L, a reason to imagine.
ẹni tí ò bá mọ̀nà kì í dá pàdépàdé a jẹ́ pé gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń jàrọ̀kọ̀ àti lọ gbé kàwé tàbí ṣiṣẹ́ lókè òkun léyìíkéyìí orílẹ̀-èdè bíi Canada, UK, Cyprus, Australia tó fi mọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè ní Europe. BioHub Consult ni ẹ bá dòwò pọ̀ bí wọ́n ṣe mójúlẹ́jà àti bániṣètò ìrìn àjò sókè òkun ni wọ́n tún jẹ́ aṣojú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ nílẹ̀ aláwọ̀ funfun fẹ́nikẹ́ni tó bá fẹ́ kàwé nílùú òyìnbó wọ́n ń bániṣètò iṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú ìrànwọ́ ètò ẹ̀yáwó fákẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìyẹn student loan tó fi mọ́ scholarship bí ọgọ́ làwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó bá ṣe IELTS lọ́dọ̀ wọn ṣàṣeyọrí àjẹpẹ́ boko bá jìnnà ẹ̀ lákìíkò. BioHub Consult wà ní nọ́mbà 55 Liberty Stadium Road àdójúkọ Lano House off Òkè-Àdó Ìbàdàn. ẹ̀ka wọn sì wà ní 15/17 Solaron Plaza Akówọjọ Road Ẹ̀gbẹ́dá nípínlẹ̀ Èkó. fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ pè 0815-677-6425 website www.biohubconsult.com.ng. wọ́n wà lórí ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ gbogbo Twitter, Facebook àti Instagram @BioHub Consult. kọ́kọ́rọ́ tó ṣílẹ̀kùn àti tẹkọ̀ létí lọ sókè òkun.
Ìbàdàn máa jẹ̀gbín yó ọmọ àfikàràmù fọ́ orí mu. Samsung ti dé pẹ̀lú àwọn ìfilọ́lẹ̀ tó jẹ tí ń gbèsè. Gba Bluetooth speaker ohun à ń fetí gbọ́ni gbọ́rọ̀ àti power bank alágbára lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún 20 per hour. Tó o bá ra ẹ̀yà ẹ̀rọ Samsung A series tààyàn. Wàá tún gba aago ìbọ̀wọ́ Samsung Watch 5. Tó o bá ra ẹ̀yà S23 series àbí Samsung Watch 5 Pro. Tó o bá ra Flip 4 àbí Fold 4. Ó yà ọ́ lẹ́nu àbí? Yára ṣàṣà lọ sí Play Mọ́kọ́lá kó lọ jẹ àwọn àǹfààní agbọ́nmálè lọ wọ̀nyí. Àdéhùn àtàsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ń bẹ o.
Makole Marale. ọdún iléyá wọlé wẹ́rẹ́ bá wa láàyè ìdẹ̀ra alihamdulilayi. iléeṣẹ́ Zenith Real Estate and Properties Limited ló ní kẹ́ẹ̀rẹ́ lẹ̀kẹ́ ẹgbẹ̀rún ọdún promo ìdí kábìrì lélẹ́yìí OPP ó pọ̀ pa. ẹ̀dínwó ti wà lórí àwọn ilẹ̀ estate wa pátá o. Kings Park Estate Maniya Ìbàdàn 1.4 million naira Achievers Estate ní Ìdó 700,000 naira Sun City Estate Alabata Maniya Ìbàdàn 1.5 million naira Rehoboth Park and Garden Estate Elekuru Maniya 800,000 naira Treasure Land Estate ní òpópónà Funab Alabata Abẹ́òkúta 150,000 naira Greenland Estate Phase 1 Alabata Abẹ́òkúta 300,000 naira. bó o bá ṣe ń sanwó láǹfọ̀n nílẹ̀ rẹ̀ tá ó sì ṣe corner piece fún ọ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. ìwọ náà wàá ralẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wa kó o gbẹ̀bùn bíi ẹran àgbò ìrẹsì òróró fan amómitutù àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. June 11 sí July 11 ní promo yìí wà fún o. Zenith Real Estate and Properties Limited wà ní dojúkọ IITA lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Àrẹ̀mú Block Industry Ọjọ́ Mọ́níyà Road Ìbàdàn. fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ 081-410-39905 tàbí kó WhatsApp wọn lórí 081-409-42376. Zenith Real Estate and Properties Limited, Baka Disala.
This is the University of Africa. Here, the most important qualification is imagination, because here, everyone has a reason to imagine.
Passion, finesse, skill, beats, stunts, beats.
What's your reason? We want to hear it from you. Imagine it with you. Maybe even make it a reality for you. Follow at INT'L Nigeria on all social media platforms for more details. T's and C's apply.
INT'L, a reason to imagine. 32 FM 94.9.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Break It On here on 32 FM 94.9. Break It On Papers Review. And it's right about time to open the phone lines and also take your comments on our socials. And the numbers are 070-550-949 or 080-979-949. For international audience, +234 9062 Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm John Jacob. Thank you, Austin. Into producing the crime, you look at me. Let me tell you, illegal court out that will not be tolerated. Also, your interpretation may be different from another person. Judiciary is another body entirely in a democracy that interprets the law. It is entirely the duty of the judiciary first to ensure that illegal court orders are not tolerated and not the president to speak on the behalf of judiciary. The presidential address was okay and actually gave hope. Even the president talked about later Abiola who died in a questionable circumstances, which is correct. Recall Chief MKO died while engaged in a meeting. We let Kofi and Chief Emeka Anyoko, and he was not sick before that meeting. I want to be brief so that others can talk. John Uzon Joko, and my name.
All right, thank you very much. 0705 5949 0809 7949. We're also live on Facebook right now. You can check us out on Facebook. That's 32FM News, 32FM 949 Ibadan. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is GBOLABO.
All right. Let's hear.
I just want to comment on the student loan bill signed by the president. I give a kudos to Mr. President for keeping an election promise. But my doubt is that how Nigeria factor will not be coming when the students that update this loan after their national service, they will regard it as a national case. Why the board of this student loan will not give the document to their kinsmen? That's my comment. And then on the election of a national assembly today, I wish them rank up free election. Have a nice day.
All right, we'll go over to Facebook and also take some comments there. We have this from Omotayo Oluwarotimi on Obamero. Without a strong economy, Nigeria cannot afford the student loan program. The government should focus on the economy first. On having a strong economy, I guess we want to copy the advanced economies, but those economies are never docile nor stagnant like ours.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Kenny, my sister, and Mr. Austin. This is John Olariwaju from Makuru. My question and my worry about the student law is that they talk about those that their parents are salary earner. What about those that their parents are not salary earner? Did they say it here? That's first question. Second question is that I think they need to even try to make sure that because any system like this in Nigeria, we used to standardize it. So we need to be monitoring very well. That's for that one. And for the second one about the statement of Mr. President yesterday that the judiciary justice cannot be something like that. I think you could remember, Mr. Austin, that former President Buhari also said about the judiciary is giving it the headache. At the end of the day, what did we see? After he has the power over the judiciary, he's misused it. I think, Mr. President, because his case is in the court, you need to be very careful about the statement that you offer at this time around. So I don't agree with that statement. Thank you and good morning.
All right, let's go over back to Facebook. Sulaiman Sharif says, good morning, 32FM crew. Thank you, Mr. President, for signing the student loan bill into law. We still need more from Mr. President, the bills that will prioritize the interest of the masses and maneuver more investors to Nigeria that will create employment opportunities for teeming graduate youths who are jobless.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ken.
Morning. Yeah.
Morning, GBOLABO.
Morning.
Good morning. I actually think Mr. President should not speak for the judiciary. He should actually face the executive. What he actually did there was speaking for behalf of the Chief Justice, and I don't think that is proper. We like him. We are supporting what he's doing, but we'll appeal to him to be very cautious in some utterances. I think we have separation of power. They should please allow everybody to do. Nobody is condoning coming to disrupt the democracy. But I feel it's actually the chief of the judiciary that have spoken up, and I believe they've already done that. Good morning. It's okay.
All right. Thank you very much. 0705 5949 0809 7949. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
My name is Sai from Ibadan here.
All right. Go ahead.
The statement of the president yesterday
some people are just misinterpreting it. What the president was referring to was the order given in 1993 by certain court when this organization was for better for Nigeria. What are they called themselves? That is the major statement, and then the other that the president was referring to. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Austin. I can see you nodding your head there to that comment.
Yes, in the commentary I did mention that the president was referring to. Yesterday was the occasion to commemorate June 12, 1993.
Right.
So the president was referring to that scenario of how military decided to hide under some flimsy court order to truncate democracy at that time. Are we saying that illegal court order? Some people that are condemning the statement couldn't even spot it until the opposition brought it out. They couldn't spot this particular phrase in the president's statement.
Right.
That's the truth. Let's see whether Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president will obey the rule of law and uphold the rule of law in Nigeria.
All right, we'll take some more Facebook comments before we go.
We have this Raji Afiz Abiola Raja says, good morning, Kenny, GBOLABO, and about the signed of this should be about the signed student loan into law by President Tinubu. As a welcome development, at least this will help the students from poor home to have access to education process. Honestly, the signing of this bill is a symbolic of good start to Tinubu administration, and we expecting more of the programs that will benefit the Nigerians and his administration. God bless Nigeria. All right, I guess we'll take one more. Timothy Okorie says, Tinubu talking about the court is suspicious. He has no right to do so. Court judges according to the law, and nobody should try to teach them.
All right. Thank you very much, Austin, for joining us. We do appreciate you and your time. By the way, a big shout out to
your wife,
Austin's
right?
wife. Yeah, Munyechi Idumu. It's her birthday today. We're wishing you long life and prosperity, all the good things of life. And of course,
from her husband, actually.
Yes, it's from her husband. And yes, we're so happy for you today. My name is Kenny Duritu. Thank you for joining us.
And I'm GBOLABO, famous school. Bye for now.